Hey guys, it's been a little while since I did something like this. First of all, thanks for 8,000 subscribers. I sort of didn't do anything for 5,000 because I was just busy, but I figured I may as well pick an arbitrary milestone to celebrate kickoff 2023 with an updated Q&A video, since the last one was a whole year and like 6,000 subs ago. So I won't waste any of your time, I'll just get right into it. Let's see what kind of hard-hitting questions the community had for me. Like, do you ever just... When is Cardi dropping? How many bananas do you think you eat on average annually? I don't. Why is the man a dumpster? Okay, wait. I can kind of work with this one. A question that I get a lot in Twitch chat and stuff like that is where the hell I got my name from. And if I squint really hard, this question is like sort of asking that. Basically, I was at a Little Caesars drive-thru with Britta, who was at the time my girlfriend, now my wife. Don't ask, man. I was a broke college kid and they have $5 hot and ready pizza. But we were stopped right next to a dumpster that had a little sign on it. It said like, for whoever's been taking pizza out of our dumpster, please come in and we will feed you. Your life has value and you deserve to be able to eat, or something like that. Basically, it seems like a homeless person had been taking pizza out of the Little Caesars dumpster. It was actually kind of a nice thing, so I really was not intentionally making fun of it. But I basically said, that's nice. I hope the dumpster man got his pizza. And just the phrase dumpster man made us laugh, and I don't know, it just sort of stuck. I think it was first my fantasy football team name, and then it was my Steam username. And around the time I was playing a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, and it was my in-game name, and it was just what a lot of my friends who played the game with me just came to know me by in-game. So that was when it really just kind of stuck, and I've just kept it since. Shiko asked, what made you want to start doing YouTube? Okay, this is actually a real question. Nice. So what a lot of people may not know is that I had a channel way back in like 2009, 2010, basically right on the come up of Minecraft when it was first released in alpha. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but I had some of the first Minecraft videos that did decently well in that like first wave of popularity. I'm talking like Sea Nanners and X's Adventures in Minecraft, like early days. That channel is gone now. It got taken down for, I think, using copyrighted music. So I can't prove it. But I do know I had at least one video that I think had over 1 million views and quite a few with at least a few 100,000 or so. The channel itself only had like 1,000 subscribers at peak. My content was inconsistent, not the best quality, and I was really just riding the wave of Minecraft's popularity more than I was actually building any kind of meaningful following. But nonetheless, I reached some moderate level of success with this channel before I ever had the Dumpster Man channel. I went off to college in 2013 and pretty much stopped uploading because I was way too busy. The channel just went dry and eventually, unbeknownst to me, got taken down for copyright. I didn't look at the channel very often during that time, so by the time I realized it happened, it was way too late for me to do anything about it. I honestly probably dodged a bullet by fumbling this particular bag, otherwise I'd be a fucking Minecraft YouTuber now, which is about the last thing I'd want to be these days. But this channel I'm on now was created, or at least became active, around 2018, 2019, as just a place where I dumped Rainbow Six Siege videos to share with my friends. And through doing this, I kind of just remembered how much I enjoyed making YouTube videos. I got a lot better at editing. I got into a rhythm of making videos again. And even though nobody was watching, I just enjoyed it because it gave me a little hobby and a creative outlet. And then things started heating up when I decided to stream on Twitch. I got a little more regular with the uploads. I converted to variety content where I tried a lot of different things. And then I finally started having some videos take off in the algorithm a little over a year ago, especially Ultrakill videos, and the rest is history. As for what made me want to do it, I don't really know. I've actually kind of always dreamed of being like a filmmaker, but I just never felt the drive to like go to film school and try to break into a pretty closed off and exclusive industry. So doing the YouTube thing kind of felt like the logical, easiest place for me to scratch that itch. And regardless, it has become way bigger than I ever expected already. And for that, I'm super grateful and super motivated to keep it going. Cassie had several questions. One, when will you and Dave collaborate again for editing? Now, Dave, if you don't know, is Dave.exe. He's a friend and fellow Ultrakill shitposter, content creator. Dave did the vast majority of the editing work on my first Cruelty Squad video, and he's been on my stream multiple times, mainly with us playing co-op Remnant from the Ashes, which was a lot of fun. Dave knows he's welcome to edit a video for me whenever he wants, and it's something we talk about periodically, but he's working on his own stuff at the moment and has school and stuff like that. So it just hasn't happened, but you know, never say never. Will you inevitably play any indie RPG games, top-down or otherwise, on your channel? So I'm sure you'll notice that my channel has at least a few genres it covers way more than others. I don't have like a hard and fast rule against playing any genre if I find games that look interesting to me and I want to share with my audience. I actually had a video in mind that probably would have me playing multiple top-down indie RPGs, but it's just not something I've gotten around to yet, of course. I don't really play that many turn-based games or like JRPGs, if that's what you're talking about. But I did love Crosscode, for example, which I played through twice off stream. And I've played stuff like Blasphemous on stream. So if that's like the type of thing you're referring to, then yeah, there'll be more of that stuff. And I know it wasn't exactly your question, but especially 3D retro style stuff like Dread Delusion or Lunacid will definitely have a place on the channel in the future. And I even have some specific plans for those games. Will there be a Dark Souls mega death montage next year compiling all the deaths you had over playing Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3? And now a death montage? Probably not. But I have toyed with the idea of doing like a retrospective montage type video with highs and lows from every game when I do finally finish all the Souls games, even beyond just Dark Souls. So if people are interested in that, I'll definitely give it a shot. Trex asks, do you have a specific game that has a feature that you wish was implemented into other games like it? This is a really interesting question because I feel like I could either get really broad or like really granular with it. I think maybe on the broadest possible spectrum, I love games that have like satisfying difficulty curves. I don't like my hand to be held too much. I like to feel like I'm, you know, overcoming challenges and mastering the game without feeling like my only option is to just beat my head against the wall. Or on the flip side, just go look up tutorials and wikis and stuff. And even if that feeling is sort of artificially drip fed to me, it's way better than just being like babied by a game. To get maybe even a little more specific, I love when games have optional or not high skill mechanics like parrying or movement tech, stuff like that. It's really fun to just explore the possibilities of systems like that and push the limits and just develop your own play style within a game. Like I love when games just kind of let you break them a little bit. I think it's why I love immersive sims so much, and probably even more obviously why I've taken so well to Ultrakill. Great question. From Duty by Jazz, I think. Do you plan on making anything like a combo vid for Ultrakill? So I'm not totally sure exactly what this means, but I'll try my best to answer it. I'm assuming you mean like a tutorial, or I guess maybe you mean like a montage. If it's the latter, then probably not. I'm just not really super interested in making videos of that type, and I don't really feel like I have that much to offer to what is already a pretty crowded space for this game. Now, if you mean like a combo tutorial, so I actually made a tutorial, but it was more of like a beginner's guide. I'm guessing not everyone has seen that because the video just didn't do that well. It's my worst performing Ultrakill video by a pretty long shot, and even though I personally think it's by far the most helpful guide out there for like true beginners to Ultrakill. And that's not to take anything away from people like Herb or Highs who have made great tutorials themselves, but I feel like the niche for a tutorial video for true beginners was not yet filled, so I attempted to do that. It's just unfortunate the video didn't really take off in the algorithm the way other Ultrakill videos have for me. So with that in mind, I honestly probably won't ever make another tutorial style video. It just doesn't feel like I'm the right person for the job, and it's apparently not what my audience is interested in anyways. So yeah, as for any kind of like deeper tutorial or combo guide video, probably not ever gonna happen. That stuff is out there already and has had some great videos made on it. I do think I want to make more commentary heavy Ultrakill style stuff. There's just so much in the game that's worth talking about and like little things to dissect and explore in more detail. And I think it'd be amiss if I didn't pursue something along those lines, but it probably won't come in the form of tutorials. They also asked, what new boomer shooters have you seen that look interesting? I need more games to play. And I actually answered in a comment, but I said Impaler, which is a great game. And I actually made another video where I talked about this game in quite a bit of detail. I recommend you check that out, or at least that you just go check out the game. It's like $3, so you don't have much to lose. They also said, why is Fashion Police Squad so base? This is hardly a question and more of a statement, but goddamn do I agree with it. play Fashion Police Squad, people. Sequel asked, will you do more streams outside of gaming and whatnot? Like the cooking ones were really fun, or you could do like an editing stream and how you break down your videos. Yeah, I mean, if you just watch here on YouTube, you might not know, but on my stream, I do quite a variety of things, even outside of just games, including cooking streams with my wife and the dumpster dive, which is kind of a collaborative community discussion and reaction focused stream that I start every week off with on Mondays usually. And that stuff will all definitely continue. I found that my streams go over the best when I not only have like some sort of plan, but I just have like something going on that I can kind of make the focus of the stream and use as a springboard for interesting conversations and funny or hype moments or whatever. Whether that's a game or cooking and chatting with my wife, reacting to a theme of things that chat sends me, like terrible mobile game ads, for example, is something we did. I find that just having a purpose for every stream is imperative to having a good stream. And a lot of times that's gaming, but not always. And more, I'm finding other ways to keep things entertaining and approachable without booting up a game at all. But I also just like playing games on stream, and it's what a lot of people are subbed to me for, and so that will always be the main focus, I think. I'm trying more and more to inject a little bit of that variety into my YouTube channel, but the YouTube audience is a little more fickle than the stream audience, and it hasn't always necessarily gone the best, at least yet. And as for editing, yeah, I honestly don't think I'll probably do this. I just don't see too many people being interested in it. And if I'm way off on that, you know, let me know and maybe I'll change my mind. But I just think that there isn't really anything particularly unique or interesting about my editing process. I may have a way I could do a little bit of this without it being like disruptive to my normal content in the future, but I haven't totally decided yet. So I'm just gonna say probably not on that one, at least for now. Maximo Bolivar asked, will you be uploading or streaming horror games? I guess it kind of depends on what you mean by that. I do play and have even played on this channel before games with horror elements. There was Nightmare of Decay. Phasmophobia, I think, has shown up in a few of my clip compilations. I played Faith on the stream, although that didn't make its way all the way to the main YouTube channel. All of these games are definitely horror, but they're all pretty vastly different. So again, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. I will say in general that horror isn't really my thing, but it's not that I don't like it. I just don't seek out horror games like I do some other genres. I don't necessarily avoid them either, but if you're for some reason subscribed here expecting to see lots and lots of horror games, I would probably temper expectations for that. I'm not really like a big survival horror guy. I'm not really into those like backrooms, liminal space, jump scare games. And I generally value gameplay over story or atmosphere. And you know, those things aren't unimportant to me, but they're just not the most important. And even if I did choose to play more games like that, I'm not sure my reactions would really be all that entertaining, or my commentary wouldn't be all that good because it's not a genre that I'm really versed in or passionate about. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. It's not no, but it's probably never going to be a very big part of the channel, so don't exactly wait up for it. Marino asked, what are your top 5 favorite indie games / demos released this year? And what game of 2022, indie, demo, or AAA release, in your opinion, has the greatest potential? So I obviously talk a lot about a lot of the games that I like from this year on this channel, like Neon White, Turbo Overkill, Fashion Police Squad, Gloomwood, etc. So I'll try and keep it to games that I didn't talk about enough or at all, really. And I'll keep it to mainly demos or early access releases that I think have a lot of potential. I'm starting to sound like a broken record with this one, but Beyond Sunset just simply needs more people to give it a good look. I think the demo technically released in late 2021, but I was able to play an early build of episode 1 this past year. And it's just so good. It's cyberpunk Doom Eternal with RPG and immersive sim elements, I guess. And apparently it has only been getting improved since I last played it. Now, with full disclosure that this game is both uniquely my shit, and I have, since covering this game for the first time, become friends with the lead developer of this game. You'll just have to believe me that I would still be shilling this game regardless, even if I was the only person on Earth excited for it. But check it out, please. Now, I haven't had a chance yet to talk about a little game called Dream Wild. Now, it's a tough recommendation. I personally love it, but it's so obtuse that it's equally likely that you will not. It's Cruelty Squad meets Devil Daggers meets a pre-rendered 2D RPG from the year 1998. Yeah, no, that's real. That is the same game. Now, whether you try this game and end up liking it or not, I just want to praise this game for being weird and unique, and I just love finding games like this, and I'm even more glad that they're still being made in 2022. It's also genuinely really good if you approach it with an open mind, but it's definitely not for everyone. Now, I could say Vampire Survivors, and you know, fuck it, I will, because that game is great, and I talked about it quite a bit in my most recent video, but you probably already know about it. So what I'll actually do as well is talk about a game that is clearly inspired by Vampire Survivors, but has a lot of unique elements that I like and got way less hype. Gunlocked is basically like, what if Vampire Survivors was a retro space shoot 'em up? And it's awesome. Despite being built on the same principles as Vampire Survivors, such as taking and upgrading a bunch of ridiculous weapons and watching everything on the screen die, and then picking up the currency they drop to get more ridiculous weapons and upgrades, Gunlocked looks and feels super unique, with many of these clones of Vampire Survivors getting so much hype and publicity despite doing really nothing different. It's a shame that Gunlocked hasn't turned more heads, I guess. So check it out. And to sort of just roll this into the next question, removing as much bias as possible from the equation, just on pure potential, I think Sulaco is going to be incredible when it releases. I'm calling it right now. I want to play more of the game personally to say for sure that the, you know, attention to detail and level design and stuff holds up for the entire game. But even just the demo is such a colossal triumph. The quality here really has the potential to put the retro FPS scene even more on the map than it already is, and I just can't wait to see it. Dougal McGuire asked, when did you first get into playing games? Now, this is kind of a vague question, so I guess I'll just take it in a couple directions. In general, I got my first console, a PS2, when I was, I think, 6 years old. And for a while, the only games I had were this stinky, stupid, awful Frogger game and Lego Racers 2, which was actually pretty good. I think I played some other games like Lego Island on my computer before that. And I had a friend who had a N64 on which I would play what are now some of my favorite games of all time, like Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, and Banjo-Kazooie. And yeah, the rest is just history. I started regularly PC gaming around 2008, 2009. Which is when my Steam account was created. And I think before I ever had a Steam account, I bought a disc version of Morrowind for like $5 on Amazon. A game which is to this day one of my favorites. And I binged the absolute shit out of it for one summer while I was quarantined with swine flu, I think. Yeah, you heard that right. And around then, I discovered digital downloads and Steam sales and whatnot, and pretty much have not gone back since. As far as specifically FPS games, and even more specifically boomer shooters, as Rude Scalamander in my Discord also asked, I want to say it all kind of started with Halo. I think more specifically Halo 2, which I played at my friend's house because my parents wouldn't let me get it, at least until Halo 3 came out, and I begged and wore them down. And when it comes to PC FPS games, it kind of started out with easily accessible source games like Counter-Strike Source and Insurgency and Day of Defeat. Stuff that was really cheap and accessible on Steam, and became a slippery slope to competitive FPS games like Rainbow Six Siege, which, say what you want about it, but it's honestly the game that kind of rekindled my love for FPS games, and even gaming in general. I mean, hell, it's the reason I made this channel in the first place. But I just didn't have the drive or motivation to commit to being actually good at that game, and the community for it is just unbelievably toxic. So after a few years on it, I kind of burned out, which is around the time when I found boomer shooters, which gave me that same high skill ceiling and feeling of mastery that I got from competitive FPS games, but just without the pressure of having to perform for a team or worry about my rank or whatever. And again, the rest is pretty much history. Dave asked, what do you think about Ultrakill growing so much in the last months, and how has that affected you? So yeah, this is a really complicated question for me, and one that I feel like I can't be like unbiased about. Now, obviously, it's amazing to see more and more people all the time enjoying Ultrakill. Obviously, my channel and brand directly benefits from the game succeeding, and it's just great, and I think more people should play it, but it's a little more complicated for me than that. Now, I never really wanted to specialize in one game or type of content. I am a variety channel first and foremost, and that will continue into the future. So I honestly feel like a huge and sudden influx of specifically Ultrakill fans to my channel has had some negative effects. For one, there is a definitely not small amount of subs here who just want to watch Ultrakill. And that's fine. I'm not going to stop making those videos entirely, but I will also never only make Ultrakill videos. So the trouble is that since YouTube values click-through rate so much, what's happening, at least as far as I can see, is that Ultrakill only viewers are almost universally not watching or even clicking on stuff like Dark Souls videos, which again is fine. I don't want you to watch videos that you aren't interested in. But what used to happen when I had less subs was that those videos would eventually find an audience who was interested in them via the algorithm. Now, instead, as my channel has primarily grown on Ultrakill subs, what happens is that YouTube sees that not even a vast majority of my subs are interested in watching these videos anymore, and it basically just murders their performance before it even gets recommended to anyone outside of my regular subs and viewers, many of whom aren't even watching it anyways or aren't watching it to completion. In other words, it's pretty much just dead before it even gets promoted to the audience that might actually like it and watch it. You can see a huge decline in my Dark Souls video views because of this, or at least I assume because of this. And it happens with some other content as well, but it's easiest to illustrate using Dark Souls, which is more drastically different. And I still get lots of positive comments on these videos, so it's not like the content is worse, or at least that's not the vibe that I'm getting. But basically all I'm trying to say is that YouTube drastically disincentivizes making variety content, and this is one of the harsh results of that for me, due to just how much of my subscriber base is just Ultrakill fans. Now, unfortunately, with the community for this game growing, my comments and Twitch chat have definitely attracted some bad apples and toxic types as well. I made a whole video about this sort of thing, so I'll keep it short here. If you want my extended thoughts on it, that video will have them. You've probably already seen it, honestly. But basically, I've faced gatekeeping, people aggressively backseating me or telling me I'm playing the game wrong when I'm really just having fun or experimenting. And worst of all, some people who have aggressively commented on some of my other content that they'd rather see me play Ultrakill, or wondering where more Ultrakill videos are, which just, why? What is that supposed to accomplish? An observation that I've had that I think is intertwined with this is that part of Ultrakill's fan base seems really young. I don't know why, honestly, because for me, the game's appeal was so much that it brought me back to games that I played when I was younger, like games from when a lot of the people who are getting into the game now were like literally babies. So imagine my surprise when I find out that many of the people watching my Ultrakill content seem to be in their early to mid-teens, anecdotally at least. I am 27 years old. I'm making content that I feel someone more like myself would enjoy. So I feel like sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect in what I find entertaining and the direction that I want to take my content, and what at least part of my audience seemingly wants to watch. Now, if you like my content and you're younger and you haven't been, you know, an unreasonable, toxic, raving Ultrakill fanatic, which the vast majority of people haven't, luckily. I'm not telling you you're wrong for being here and enjoying my videos, but it feels like a lot of Ultrakill fans out there who are here are expecting to see something from me that I am just not prepared at all to deliver. Whether that's just consistent low effort Ultrakill content, or like I legitimately cannot believe the amount of people who tell me I should play Roblox or Five Nights at Freddy's, as if anything currently on my channel would suggest that I'd be interested in that. Anyways, I digress. Ultrakill has given me absolutely everything I have in the content creation world, basically, and I cannot overstate how important the game is to me and my channel. But with it has come all sorts of problems, struggles, and a constant necessity for me to rethink how I thought this whole YouTube thing would go. I'm super grateful for it, but also nervous a bit at what the community and my community as a result will be like as it continues to grow. And I'll leave it at that. Go check out that longer video if you haven't already. That is at least partially on this subject if you're curious. Adrian Smith asked, what is your favorite non-shooter game? So probably my favorite game of all time is Dishonored. Is that a shooter? I mean, it's first person and there's guns, but you really don't do that much shooting. So I could probably just say that and call it a day. But assuming we're considering that a shooter by just about the loosest definition possible, then I mean, another one of my favorite games of all time is Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and that's definitely not a shooter. It's definitely my favorite Zelda game, if nothing else. But I don't know, that was just one of the first games that I really connected with, and I still love it to this day. It's aged really well, and it still captures the feeling of a massive world full of potential and freedom of exploration better than some modern games 10 times its size. External Screaming asked, is your twin brother actually an ordained priest? Yes. Would I lie to you? Flippy asked, who's your favorite mod? I'ma hit the Blinkerton Express back to Yodiland. I'll see you whenever. Ladies and gentlemen, my longest tenured moderator. People who enjoy salt and vinegar probably also enjoy the taste of penis.
What? Today I will be ranking all Ultrakill enemies based on how thick they are.
I'm just gonna say retro without elaborating any further and move on. Rude Scalamander asked, why are you so short? I guess I knew I would be faced with this question eventually. A few people pointed out how tall I looked in the opening skit of the Minos Prime P-Rank video, but I have a confession to make. It's all a lie. Camera tricks, stools, whatever. I have been living a lie. My actual height is 4'8". And no, I'm not kidding. I'd really appreciate it if you didn't draw any more attention to it. All right, that's about it for the questions. I just want to talk generally about the channel for a bit. In mid-2022, I actually left my full-time job. Now, I didn't talk about this very much publicly other than with a small circle of people on my Discord. In fact, I didn't mention it on this channel at all, I don't think. Because for one, I didn't want to needlessly explain my reasoning for it. And no, because I'm sure you're wondering, that decision didn't really have anything to do with YouTube or streaming. Not directly, at least. But I'll get to that in a minute. I was just very unhappy at my old job. I didn't feel fulfilled in what I was doing. I didn't feel like I was getting to use skills that I had spent countless hours building up and honing. And even more so, I just wanted some freedom from the 9-to-5 grind. Now, I am incredibly lucky to have an amazing financial support system, a savings that I built up through 5 years of full-time work, and my wife, who has a great job that supports us through the times that I can't. And although it wasn't my intention to quit my job to work on content creation full-time, the autonomy that I felt from even being able to earn just a little bit of money doing something that I truly love did, in a way, empower me to seek that freedom from my 9-to-5 grind. My intention was to take freelance jobs, hone skills like art and graphic design and web design, and maybe even try my hand at game development, which is something that I've actually begun doing a little bit of and still want to do more of. And it might even become part of this channel in the not so distant future. We'll see about that, but stay tuned. And I did some of all of that stuff, but I did also use a lot more of my newfound freedom than I ever expected to just pour a lot of time and effort into this channel and into my stream. And despite many ups and downs, this was one of the best years of my adult life. And I don't know whether or not YouTube and content creation is the thing that I'll be doing in the long term. By just doing the thing myself and feeling that fulfillment and the freedom that it brings, I know that this is what I want to do with my life. So for that revelation, I'm extremely grateful. And for all of you who played an unknowing part in that, of course, just thank you. So with all of that said, I do want to talk shop quickly. After leaving my job, my biggest source of income this year was YouTube ad revenue. And even with a few freelance jobs and Twitch revenue and a sponsorship for the stream and so on, as a single source, I still pulled in the most income from YouTube overall. I got partnered in February, which was a few months before I left my job. But even up until around when I left my job, I was making literal pennies off of YouTube at best. And that didn't change until well after I had already left my job. I've also been a Twitch affiliate since late 2021, but I've never really made a meaningful amount of money on Twitch. That's fine. I view Twitch as more of a live recording session for what will ultimately become YouTube content. So I don't mind that it isn't necessarily super lucrative for me. If you don't know, a great way to support me beyond just watching my YouTube content, if you want, is subscribing on Twitch. I only mention this because I think a lot of people don't know, but for either $5 or especially and preferably, since it comes at no extra cost to you, your free Amazon Prime subscription, if you have it, of course. I get a kickback from that. You get to use my emotes. You get a special role in my Discord. It's really the best way to directly support me at the moment. Now, you don't have to do anything. Don't get me wrong. A view and a sub here on YouTube is plenty. But the reason I mention this is because a big goal for this next year is to figure out a way other than YouTube ad revenue to make this venture even remotely sustainable for me. I had a few great months for ad revenue around when Ultrakill Act 2 dropped, enough that it was at least paying my rent for a couple months, which is honestly way better than I ever expected to do monetarily on YouTube at any point in 2022. But when the views from those videos started to slow down, I was shocked at how quickly I returned right back to a pretty damn low baseline. My knee-jerk reaction was just to pump some videos out to make up the difference, but none of those videos even came close to capturing the success of those Ultrakill videos, and as a result, I was starting to just not feel very good about the content that I was putting out there either. So I decided to make a change in how I approach it, make fewer but higher effort videos, and just focus more on making the videos that I truly want to make, rather than chasing the proverbial algorithm dragon. So unless what you really want to see from this channel is like twice weekly, ultra low effort, Ultrakill videos with me soy jacking in the thumbnail in front of some vague bolded text and a clickbait title, then I might just need to dispel the notion that I'm ever going to be able to make the content that I want to make and still support myself exclusively and consistently with ad revenue. at least for now. But outside of just picking up more non-content creation work, which I'm sure I will be doing plenty of in 2023, because I do still have expenses and bills to pay, it doesn't leave a lot of options to monetize the content creation side of things. I had thought that people who liked my videos wouldn't have an issue finding their way to my Twitch stream and dropping a Prime sub, but it seems people either don't know about it, or actually way less people that watch me have access to it, or people just don't want to sub to me. All of which are fine. Again, I'm not judging or telling you what to do or to feel any particular way about this. I'm just explaining my internal monologue about it. But unless something changes, this also kind of rules out Twitch as being a stable secondary income stream as well. Again, making money has never been a non-negotiable of streaming for me. If nobody watched or subbed to my stream, as long as I did something cool or funny and made a clip or a YouTube video out of it, and I had fun, then for me, it was all worth it. But Twitch doesn't exactly give you a lot of other options for monetization, at least ones that aren't much more predatory. The next best option is that I can run ads, but with the amount of viewers I have, Twitch ad revenue is a complete joke compared to the net negative effect of forcing a bunch of ads down my relatively few regular viewers' throats instead of just providing them good content. So yeah, that's where I stand on that. So what else is there? Sponsorships? I've not ever once been offered a sponsorship for my YouTube channel, at least not that I was remotely interested in taking, which is where the majority of my audience is. And I've only ever had a few offered to me for my stream. Now, I'm probably never going to do Raid Shadow Legends or whatever, but if I could work with a sponsor that isn't something I actively detest and would help fund this channel to some degree, then I would do it in a heartbeat. But it's also important to me that it's a good fit for me and my channel, and that I can still make the exact content I want to make. So it may just be easier said than done, since I'm not going to just bend to the whims of a sponsor just to make money. And in my mind, that leaves just one thing: Patreon. I've been kind of resistant to start a Patreon because I always kind of viewed my Twitch as the place where people could choose to support me directly with money if they wanted to. But it just hasn't panned out like that. And the more I shift to commentary and video essay style stuff, the more value I see in just having a place where people can just choose to support me directly. And I can provide supplemental content to those people without, you know, disrupting or changing my content here on YouTube or on my stream to like just try and make money. It's really important to me that I provide value on there while still making the content that you've already subbed for here and on Twitch. There's a really cheap tier with some perks and a unique role in the Discord if you like my content and are looking for another way to help me keep this thing going and you have the money to spare. Check out the Patreon. I'm going to try and post polls and community discussions about certain topics like what games or content I should work on next, reviews and scripts that don't make it into videos, and hopefully early access to videos and even director's cuts and behind the scenes looks at videos I'm working on. So if any of that sounds cool to you, please check it out. I'm aware that probably not a lot of people have watched this far into the video, so I'll probably talk about my Patreon elsewhere as well. But getting this off the ground in 2023 is a big goal for me, so I appreciate you hearing me out. And yeah, I hope you give it a look. 2022 took my channel and stream to places that I never expected. I found an old note on my computer about some vague goals I had for this year, and I realized I hit almost all of them, and honestly smashed most of them, even the stretch goals. So even though I feel some disappointment and anxiety sometimes about not having done better or gone further, it's always useful to me to go back and look at stuff like this and just remember how far I've come. And I'm sure 2023 will have just as many surprises for me. I'm gonna adapt to what gets thrown at me and hopefully take this thing to the next level yet again, no matter what it takes. And just keep dishing out content that you all hopefully love. And I'm sorry that this got kind of long and rambly near the end, but I hope it was insightful. And if you're still watching, thanks for being here, and I hope to see you a bunch more in 2023.
Hit that like button.
Alright.
Smash that bell, hit that bell
this-
button, hit this
Destroy my
bell
pussy.
button.
Subscribe to Dumper Man.